favorite books don't have Batman.
Because they don't.
I'm Frank Duran.
I'm Deshaun Vasquez.
And welcome to the show. We are reviewing this week a very short week of comics. It is itty-bitty for us. Yeah. It's not really... I don't know why.
It's like we've been dying and starving, getting all these books in these past few weeks.
And then we got such a small week. But we do have good news. We got on the DC solicitation list, guys, with Geeky Universe, one of our sponsors of the show. They are getting us on the DC list, so we'll be getting every DC comic. That's just a little tease on how the show is going to be playing out in the future, because the show is going to be more DC-centric.
DC.
So all the fanboys are like, yes, and all the guys who liked when we switched over to more Marvel stuff are like, shit, what have you done? But we'll see, and see how it changes the show a lot. I think it'll be a lot more DC books. I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But before we go into that, be sure to check us out on geekyuniverse.com. We'll be getting those comics. Also, comics related, Rhymes with Geek,
Podcast Land,
iTunes, and of course, to watch our webcast, go on GAU Studios YouTube page, hit subscribe button, and you'll get this webcast in full video form, so you can see our beautiful mugs every week.
Yeah.
And we're starting to edit them more, so you'll be able to see some covers on there and stuff. So it'll be nice. It'll be pretty video stuff.
Really is a short week. I'm not even wearing my hat today.
No, it's just weird. It's like, what's happening? Guys, you can see it now.
Yeah,
if you go to GAU Studios, you can see it.
I have hair.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. But first off, what did we read in store? What'd you read? Detective Comics, right?
I did read Detective Comics. We're still following the typical Icarus storyline, or as I like to call it, Iron Man 3 Extremist, but done so much better.
And this is Francis Manipool and
Brian Buccellato.
Fantastic art.
Oh my god, this art. Especially this. I think this one has had their best art so far, because there are just pages where it's just like, Batman. So pretty. Like, just a 4-panel page of him just standing. Just standing. Puts the mask on, next panel, jumps off the one panel. It's just like, that's like, a dime a dozen for Batman, but it's so beautiful.
It's just wonderful.
As far as the storyline goes, it's getting interesting. I like how it still ties into Batman Eternal, like Jim Gordon is in jail.
Yeah.
The book's kind of picking up the slack for other things.
I dig that. I dig how many books are actually connecting to Batman Eternal. They're like, there's some good ideas happening over there. We should just hook up with that.
Hey, it's not like Batman Eternal's in Elseworlds or anything.
No, of course.
But as far as the story goes, it's essentially what we had last issue, just Batman figuring out the mystery and interacting with this girl he knows who's also infected with the Icarus formula, who's kind of suicidal, kind of lost her parents in a similar way to Bruce, so Bruce has known her and he relates to her.
Cool. What would you rate it?
A 7.
Nice.
Because it is kind of more of the same.
Yeah, it's not anything conclusive or anything like that. Next up on our list was Superman Wonder Woman, number, I don't know.
Yeah, number, I don't know, part, I don't know,
yeah, it's
Superman Doomed.
Because it's Superman Doomed, that's the thing, it's so many parts to it, and we're pretty deep into Superman Doomed at this point.
Yeah.
And I haven't read most of the parts, but I'm reading the main storyline, I guess, and you get what's been happening in the story, like, first couple pages of any Doomed issue. They're like, he's infected and he's done all this. And you're like, oh, okay, well, now I'm caught up to speed, I guess.
Yeah, so now, like, a good chunk of the Earth, if not the entire Earth, is covered in, like, this kryptonite smog.
Which, yeah, and okay, whatever, we'll go with it.
And it's actually the kryptonite that awakens the Doomsday within him.
Yeah, because he can't hold back the Doomsday.
The Doomsday.
So,
as an alternative, Wonder Woman decides, I'm going to take my braces off, awaken my true power,
and
fly him out to the Earth and keep him away from the cloud, because there he'll be unaffected.
And it does work, and he's able to get out of it, and he's immediately like, I'm going to leave planet then and figure this out. And they're like, well, that's maybe a good idea.
Yeah.
But then what's the most important part about this issue is not the Superman Wonder Woman part, but the Red Lanterns come in. They're like, hey, you're in our orbit. Boom! And they just start beating the crap out of Superman / Doomsday. And they just keep, smacking him around. Then we get an actually, good Red Lantern Doomsday fight. Uh-huh. And it's not just stupid, slap and they're finished. It's actually, a fight. Which is worth it. And also, it's a fight because it's Red Lantern Supergirl, which is just... it's the most OP thing DC did. Like they're like,
Yeah.
hey, what character can we make
It's like
more OP?
We can't do Superman himself because let's do Supergirl. It's the closest thing we'll get to it.
Yeah.
It's like second most OP you could do besides like a Yellow Lantern Batman that would actually work and not just come off immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the reason why it's like, I get it why they did Kara as Supergirl. It's just ridiculously overpowered. It's so like, oh, wow. and this issue's fun because of those fights and everything. But again, it's just more like, who's going to fight Doomsday next? I don't know. Like,
even at that, there are still some like nice moments snuck in here. Again, with Superman Wonder Woman's cute little relationship. It's actually kind of touching, like how sad everyone feels about, they kind of have to push Superman out for the time being until they figure this out. And come to think of it, is this going to like set up grounds for the new Superman title?
I don't know.
New Superman
Action
title
comics?
with John's taking over?
I don't know. Why?
Because in the way that like maybe Superman just kind of gets exiled for Earth for a while and has to like do space adventures.
That'd be kind of cool.
They've done that before with John Byrne's run after he had killed Zod and the other two Kryptonian criminals. He had like felt ashamed and he exiled himself from Earth and he was like out in space for a while,
just doing stuff. Maybe that's what Jeff Johns' run will be. I
would dig it.
I'd dig that.
That'd be a cool change of pace.
Absolutely, and can't come back to Earth because he'll turn into Doomsday.
Yeah,
it's a little ridiculous, but okay. Like fine. As long as it leads to good adventures, that's what I care about. And I'm excited for Jeff Johns' run with Romero's because it's on every issue of DC. But whatever.
Was it this?
It's there.
I know the advertisement was there, but was the back issue there?
No,
I don't think the back issue.
No, they just have the giant poster thing. Still.
That's good, but at least they're not adding like the entire like preview.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're excited. It's Jeff Johns writing Superman, and the guy knows how to write Superman. So someone who actually knows how to write Superman for once on the main title.
I'm cool with it, and the fading out of Scott Lobdell is all I care about.
Yep.
So, and Jeff and them coming in with this new Superman title really just does that. So I'm like, all right, thank God. But what would you rate this issue?
I'd give this a 7 too.
It's a 7.
Issues, both a 7.
It's solid. But it isn't something I'm going to be like, you had to read Superman and Wonder Woman this week.
I feel like I care the most about Superman and Wonder Woman when it's actually just dialed down and just hanging out. Which is funny, because that was the thing we were most afraid about. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to read a book about Superman and Wonder Woman just gushing over each other. Now I'm just like, I just want to read a book about Superman and Wonder Woman gushing about each other.
Absolutely. Because, sometimes when they just start fighting, it just feels like a Justice League book or something like that. You kind of just want something different.
Just without the other heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just kind of like, where's the other people? Like sometimes. But at the same time, it's a good, solid read. Superman and Wonder Woman's
good.
It's been
good up until this point.
Yeah, stuff. Doom's not a bad miniseries. I thought it was going to be absolutely horrifying, and it's not terrible. Like, it's not like, man, you got to read Doomed. It's awesome.
Well, it's a decent time. It's a good time.
It's a good time. I'm down with it. Is that all for what we read in store?
Yeah.
Yeah. So next up on our list is Deadpool number 30.
Original sin, but not at all.
Yes,
again.
At all. This title is literally about Deadpool and Dazzler killing vampires. No, you didn't hear me wrong. Yes, finally a storyline where Dazzler is the most important character.
You're keeping the most crucial component out.
Oh, yes.
Time travel, too.
Yes. This is
Deadpool went back to the 80s and brought the 80s Dazzler, the 80s very fluorescent, very flamboyant Dazzler to present time to fight vampires. Comic books.
It's just comic books, but it is wonderful. Like a great read, like great story, and of course, like any Deadpool arc, it makes me laugh a lot because it knows it's a Marvel book, and at the same time, it's ridiculous.
Yep, but I can't say I enjoyed the art.
No, the art is actually bad this issue. Yeah. Like we have said before, sometimes that the Deadpool art is kind of rough.
You can accept rough because of the material.
Yeah.
Because it's meant to be like comical, so you can accept like silly art styles. But this is just amateur.
It really it goes all over the place. There's lots of weird facial expressions, a lot.
Most of the time Dazzler's face looks like it's melting.
And I don't get why they keep trying to make an expression under Deadpool's mask. So all you see is the stretched like fabric, and it makes it look like Deadpool's got like weird chins all the time. You know, like it's just like it's very strange. The subject matter is hilarious, and the action is kind of cool. But there's like parts where it's just like, what the hell am I looking at?
But I feel like it's brought down by the art.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The art is like, I found this funny, but I feel like it would have been so much funnier if the art matched.
Yeah. Absolutely, like that's what hurts this issue a lot. The art being so.
Because I like the concept. I like Dazzler. She's silly, but she's got cool powers.
And I love the disco references. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize to everyone who just thinks this issue's cheesy, but like I laughed. I laughed at every disco joke. And I'm a terrible person, I guess. But like, it was
Disco's
funny.
still alive for you.
Not really.
It's in your heart.
No, it's not.
Deep in the cockles.
No, it is dead. It is dead. Disco is beyond dead. But at the same time,
someone out there, deep, far away, is just like, take that back.
I take it back. Disco's too loud. But we're supposed to get some original sin twists at the end of this issue.
Yeah, now
but
it feels like it's kind of like getting there. After
Almost.
the last page after 2 issues of advertising it.
We'll see. Because I feel like they're just going to be done with this original sin arc before they even get to the original sin story in Deadpool.
And as an interesting little touch, I find it kind of interesting that the cover with Dazzler kind of looks suspiciously like Comic Book Girl 19. And the reason that probably would be a coincidence is because
she's cosplaying.
She loves to cosplay as Dazzler.
Yeah.
And she's even like made a Dazzler fan film.
No, it's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I love this art. I love this cover. It's a fantastic cover. Like it's out of line and highly realistic for the bad art that happens on the inside. This is a really great cover.
Mm-hmm.
What would you give this issue? I think I have to give it a 6, even though I like the writing. The art just kind of hurts.
You know, I'd give it I'd higher. I think it's another 7.
It's another 7?
I think it's another 7 because I still think it works on its own even if the art is bad. I think it's still good with the art, but it would have been great with better art.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that, but I think I'll still go with the 6 because I think it was just kind of like meh at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is Justice League United number 2. Yes. And okay. So it's the second issue. So there's lots of exposition.
Oh my god.
Literally so much story.
It doesn't even start off that bad.
No, it doesn't start off
page, okay. Second page, you get a little wordy, but it's okay.
Sure, because you could see the difference in speech bubbles. It's like impressive. But like it jumps every page. Like holy crap. Which is just like
it just gets ridiculous
once you get a few pages in. Like, but the thing is, even though it's a lot of exposition, it's world building. It's universe building because we don't like. I mean, I've not read a lot of DC space comics, to be truthful. But at the same time, this book does a good job of introducing all the DC alien planets. Like, I feel like I am now knowledgeable in what the DC planets are. Like, and they did it in a way that made me go, okay, I understand that, instead of just being like, I don't give a fuck about all these different factions, you know? But it's just like, sometimes it just gets so wordy. I know it's the second issue, and they gotta fit a lot of shit in to be able to tell their story, but like, you're like,
especially to like set up like a new team, and then this is a brand new Adam Strange, among other things,
in a whole DC universe that they're going to be
in the
fighting
meanwhile.
through.
Of course, covers as usual are misleading. It shows Hawkman and Lobo.
That's not true, but that is no. I mean, because that actually happens 3 times in the book.
It does.
Like we see Hawk.
Well, it's more like Hawkman shows up. I'm gonna fight you. Next time we're fighting, and the next time fight's over.
Yeah, well, I liked
but
that.
They're still a really minor part of the issue.
They are. But I still liked it. I liked that they, like, last issue they cut off his arm, and that was the big thing. Lobo chopped off Hawkman's arm. I keep want to call him Hawk Guy. Hawk Guy is, he's starting to grow back his arm because the nth metal actually heals his injuries, which I did not know the Nth Metal did that, but
I didn't know Nth Metal did that either.
But I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it, I guess. I just didn't know he could heal back entire fucking arms. So, like, okay, I wanted hook arm Hawk Guy. That's all I'm saying.
Just want hook arm everything. Thor gets
I'm just saying.
chopped off. Hook
Yeah, it should have been Justice League Hook Arms. Like, and I would have read that. That would have been. That's a book I would read.
Everyone gets their arms chopped off. They all get hooks.
Stargirl
gets her hand chopped off. She fucking fuses it with her scepter. Everyone with hook arms.
Who'd be on that team? As a Red Arrow with his hook arm. Aquaman. Who else has hook arms? Comment down below with people on hook arms so they can join my Justice League.
And then
hook
make
arms.
the rest of them hook arms.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But like this issue, I still enjoy it for all its exposition. I still feel like it's still bringing the team together.
I find the Ultra subplot interesting and like the setup for it. I'm just like, that's cool. A baby made of like genetic materials from like all species across the universe. That's cool.
And we still get absolutely fantastic art the entire time. I mean, I think that this is a beautiful, beautiful series, and I think it's only going to get cooler and cooler as we keep going down. And I just love Animal Man and Green Arrow. This is like, they are
of course,
fantastic.
Deadpool writes both books, or used to since Animal Man is concluded now. But, of course, they're the ones who have the bad heads.
Yeah. And I love that. I love that he's like Jeff Lemire characters. Fight each other.
You stupid animal pilots, you stupid arrows.
I love it. I think this book is a fantastic read, even if it's a lot of exposition. 8 out of 10.
8.
All right. Next up on our list is a very moody Batgirl issue. Batgirl number 32.
Very angsty.
Yes, this is a very angsty book. Like, she starts off with, I'm done. Done with you, Gotham, the way you are now. Done with the heroes who kill. Done with the bad guys who think the good guys. You're just like, okay.
Is that how Batgirl's?
Yeah, it's just
that's sexy.
Yeah, Batgirl's so sexy.
But it makes sense. Again, this is another book that ties into Batman Eternal, and
she's pissed.
And the events of Batman Eternals has consequences.
Yeah, I dig that, and I dig that Barbara actually has to deal with them.
And Barbara had enough to deal with before her father got arrested.
Yeah, and I like how they just kind of pile it on top, and still it ties in well without you feeling like, huh. The only part that makes you go, huh, is that they were doing the plot with Ricky's her boyfriend Ricky was suing Gordon for wrongfully shooting him, but now he's in prison. So, but then they build that into the plot by being like, well, they don't like it when you kick somebody when they're down.
Yeah, but they had mentioned that last issue, so it didn't really.
So it still works. Like, it still works. It just almost feels contrived. Like, it's like 2 seconds away from being contrived. Is all I'm saying. Like, it's almost like,
like the sense that she had the storyline go, but then it's like, man, Batman Eternal's sneaking up. I gotta find a way to.
Yeah, let me just get that in there.
Just knead it in, you know.
But it still works, and as always, the art for Batgirl is very solid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love the art for Batgirl because it's realistic, it's smart, and they don't over-sexualize Batgirl, which happens a lot in girl comics where they're just like, shot, like,
she actually moves like a human being.
Yeah, like a human being. Like, not like Catwoman in Batman Eternal where she's doing these weird kicks.
Well, I mean, that wasn't even meant to be. If that was meant to be sexy, you did something wrong. That was just weird.
Last week, that was strange. But I really dig the way Gail Simone has built a universe for Batgirl and a nemesis that's her own nemesis.
We had said this. Charisse Carnes, a.k.a. Nightfall, she has an arch enemy now.
Yeah,
she has an arch
what?
nemesis. Where the fuck is Nightwing's arch nemesis if you're really trying to push? No, he's a separate hero.
Absolutely. Because, all the other sidekicks, they have their own separate books, but they don't get good nemesis.
But they're always still second fiddle. It's just like, you're still like a sidekick. It's like, no, Batgirl's her own woman.
Yeah, and it works.
They've done a good job establishing that, really emphasizing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely, Batwoman is its own, she's her own separate book almost, and she gets great nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, nemesis. And I love Batwoman's people, but that's the thing is that those books and Batman barely intersect at all, and Batgirl is obviously intertwined with Batman Eternal, and is still able to do it.
So it's like a middle ground.
Yeah,
Batgirl's that middle ground between connecting to Batman, but it's not so separate that it's something like Batwoman.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's what Nightwing should be, but it's not written by Gail Simone. It's its problem, and I really I think Batgirl's a fantastic series, and it continues to get better and better.
I'm glad I gave it the chance, because I was one of the people, again, I've said this before, like, way back, that I was ready to just not pick up Batgirl, because I'm just like, oh, why did they bring Barbara Gordon back? She was a better character as Oracle. Sandra Kane, Stephanie Brown. But Gail Simone was writing it, so I'm just like, okay, so this will actually turn out good.
And it did. And it's wonderful. And at this point, you're like so deep in the Batgirl universe, if you've been reading month to month, that it's actually rewarding for you. Like, that's what's the best part about this, is like a new 52 series that actually did some world building, and we're at a point where it's like, oh, look at this universe that Batgirl's got.
For following it.
It's like, and it's nice that way, that Batgirl, like, it doesn't feel like I'm bringing up all these points to remind you why this series is great. It's like, this is the way the story plays out.
Mm-hmm.
And I dig that we're finally at a point that like that for Batgirl, instead of like, villain of the week, what's happening? You know, like, I like that.
And there are moments where it's just Barbara just hanging out with her roommate, and they're just so endearing. Like in this issue where she walks in on her roommate. I'm not going to finish that sentence. You know where I'm going with this.
Yep. But, it's a good issue. What would you give it?
I feel like it's an 8.
It's
I feel
an
like
8.
it's missing something. Just something to, like, almost kind of bring it up to
Yeah,
a
because
9.
it could be a 9. But it's definitely
It
an
has
8.
the seeds there. I feel like it'll build later, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I just think it's like, it's so close. It just needs something climactic to make it like, wow, you know? And then on to our always favorite, Batman Eternal.
So,
number 10.
10 still good?
Still
good.
Great.
Still
I
good.
love this series. I will say it again. I will say it always. Batman Eternal, fucking fantastic. For a series that's written by 4 people, which always is a clusterfuck.
But again, you comparing it to an HBO show is probably the perfect description to give it.
Absolutely.
It's a show with its own head producers and head writers, but they don't write every episode.
Yeah.
They have to have other consulting writers to work on it, but they're all part of a team, so they keep the continuity straight.
It fucking
It's a
works.
TV show.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly it. We get it every week. But at the same time, it still feels episodic in its ways. It's great because it's something that weekly comics were missing for a while, because weekly comics, whenever they happen, you're just kind of like...
most of the time they turn out pretty bad.
Yeah, and they're just
perfectly
filler
honest.
most of the time.
Like Future's End.
Yeah, Future's End. Future's End, which we have stopped picking up. I did not read it this week.
Nope.
Because
done.
I'm done. I'm
over.
done. I'm done with it. It pissed me off too much. Call me when it gets picked up again. I want somebody to comment down below on the week that Future's End actually does something. I want somebody to comment down below to be like, hey, no, Future's End was pretty good this week.
Like,
and I will read it. And I will find out.
It's like, no, you missed it, man. It's like Shaggy Man became a Yellow Lantern and fought the Anti-Monitor. Just like, who the fuck did
Somebody let us know. But I mean, back to Batman Eternal. Mr. Pig ain't taking no shit.
Professor Pig.
Professor Pig. Professor Pig, his class is in session, and he's going to take it to Carmine Falcone, and he does.
Professor Pig has always been so weird, and he continues to be just super, super weird and scary.
Yeah, I like that this issue is mostly a soliloquy. Like, it is mostly like...
Soliloquy.
Because...
See, I had to go slow on this because I have trouble saying it.
Because Carmine is lecturing Catwoman, and Catwoman is also thinking about her history with Carmine, and then Professor Pig is just, like, going around screaming the entire time, and, like, going to chop people.
You destroyed my lab, I kill everyone.
So it's, like, it's strange. It's, like, poetic in a way at the beginning. Like, it's very dramatic and, like, and very strange, and then Professor Pig just comes in and ups the violence by, like, a fuck ton. And, like...
I feel like Catwoman... I feel like that foreshadowing something really bad is going to happen to Catwoman.
Yeah,
like
really,
something really, really bad that like makes that push to that like sneak peek of the Eternal we got in the main Batman title.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm
looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to some big things in this series. And I mean, there's some big things happening, but like something that's going to rock a character will definitely be cool.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I love the other thing I love about this series, other than like how smart it is spoiler. Like Stephanie Brown is spoiler, even though it is literally maybe 1 to 2 pages every issue. it's starting to really intrigue me. It's starting to make
Which
me
is
go,
interesting for you, especially since you're unfamiliar about
with Stephanie Brown. Like I'm not a huge wow, where's Stephanie Brown guy? Because
I'm that guy.
He's that guy.
I love Stephanie Brown. I love.
And I think I hear John right now being like, what? What did he just say? He doesn't like Stephanie Brown? No,
fucking garbage, Frank.
I fucking love all Batgirls. Or any Robins, all of them. They're all good except for Jason Todd because they're fun and I liked Stephanie Brown. I've read some stuff of her, but I did not see why it was such a big deal. She was kind of pushed away, and I think this is actually a very interesting way to bring her back in. We see her qualities. It kind of feels like the Shazam backup of. Justice League. Yeah, because it's like that kid that's doing the right thing, and to help it and fighting their own villains too. Cluemaster doesn't seem to be actually fighting Batman at the moment. He's
just trying to kill his own daughter, and Steph's just like this poor girl's just frightened.
It is frightening. I actually feel bad for her in the 2 panels we see her. Wow.
I mean, part of the reason why people were so touchy about Stephanie Brown to begin with is because her series was going on, and it stopped because of the reboot.
Yeah, so I'm sure. I can see why people are angry. It's just I think this is actually a really interesting way to reintroduce her. And it's slow, but at the same time, it's the way to bring her back as spoiler. They're making it subtle, and they make her name actually mean something.
Yeah, this is an origin.
And I'm totally cool with that. If we get a whole new Stephanie Brown origin in Batman Eternal, that's kind of awesome. I'm totally cool with that. I wonder if they'll put it into its own book as a Stephanie Brown origin, boop, take all the story panels out.
Yeah, because they did that with the Shazam.
They did that with Shazam. I wonder if they'll do that for Stephanie Brown. I don't think they will. I think they'll just put all of Batman Eternal out and be buy it.
The omnibus.
Omnibus. You're gonna have to buy it 12 issues at a time, which is just gonna be ridiculous.
Oh, it's gonna take forever too. It'll probably take 3 years, given how long it takes fucking DC to put out their trades.
Absolutely, they're
gonna how many issues these are, you won't get it for 5 years.
It's gonna be awful. But I think this issue is pretty great. My only problem with the issue is kind of how it ends. I mean, not to spoil anything, but it kind of I love the fight at the end. I think it's sick and everything. I just think it's kind of a reset at the end instead of actually some type of progression.
I actually don't get that vibe. I was fine with it. My beef with this issue kind of is the art.
Yeah?
The art is rough, and you had said it while we were reading. Batman looks Asian.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne looks Asian.
Every panel is just...
His eyes.
What you say to Bruce Wayne?
Those who are listening to
what you say to Bruce Wayne?
His eyes are closed the entire time.
Absolutely just shut. And it's just kind of okay.
And a few characters do that, and it looks weird.
It just looks strange. But at the same time, there's some really good art. I love that Batman hang glides in and kicks Professor Pig's goons in the face. I love Professor Pig's goons. It's gross, it's weird, and the design is interesting.
And as per usual...
He punches a fucking horse. It wouldn't be a Scott Snyder book unless Batman punched a horse in the face.
And he didn't even write the script for this one. This is John Layman again, just like at last issue.
I think Scott Snyder is an editorial requirement. He's one horse.
Editorial mandate.
Every issue.
Animals must die.
I want to punch a lion. I want to punch a horse. He has something against animals, people. I have no idea.
I'm totally gonna ask him about it at Comic-Con.
At Boston Comic-Con, I'm gonna be like, "What do you got against horses?
Why do you hate horses so much?"
But what would you rate it?
I'd give it an 8.
I'm definitely gonna give it an 8.
The art bugged me, but I don't feel like it was enough to bring it down a point or anything.
It's good, but again, I think that. I don't think anything big was resolved at the end, so I don't think it's wow issue. But I loved the entire content of the issue. It's just that end made me go, so what happens next?
Also cover Morgia March angry Batman.
Rachel! He's just screaming at the top of his lungs all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Can't communicate.
Catwoman's like, calm the fuck down. But that's it for this week. We said it was a short week. That's all we have for comics. And guys, I just want to say thank you to everyone that has supported us. We are almost at 100 followers on SoundCloud. We are only 3 away, so please hit that follow button down below so that way we can reach 100. We passed 31,000 plays, and I think that's all you guys. It's just fantastic. And be sure to check out all the sites that we're on, and be sure to subscribe down below if you're watching us on YouTube, because you won't get more of these unless you subscribe. Mm-hmm. That's the only way.
And you could talk to us, guys. Comment on the SoundCloud.
Yeah,
comment on the Facebook.
The Facebook is, if you want to get direct responses from us about comic book questions, things you want to hear our opinion about, please hit us up on the Facebook, because we will not be biased. We will let you know what we freaking think about a comic book subject on our thing. Like, we will fight you. But
it's like, we'll make you unlike that.
But thank you guys for all the support. I hope you have a great week.
Goodbye.